Hey everybody, Alex Kozora, SteelersDepot.com, back to do another Talk to the Tape. Been a little while since we've had one of these style videos, had some live streams we do every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, but I've been talking about it for a long time, including on those streams about I want to do a video on Bud Dupree and his run defense. We got 7 different clips we're going to go through in this video that just kind of discusses, that Dupree really showed, and he'd always shown it before, but he was kind of a complete package player, and he added the kind of the pass rush consistency and production this past year, but even in prior years, the first 4 years in his Steelers career, his run defense and his effort had always been solid, and I honestly thought, as good as he was as a pass rusher in 2019, he was even better with his run defense. So clip here, probably the best one I can show, working against George Kittle, obviously one of the top blocking tight ends in football, and just able to stay square, shed the block, find the ball, and trip up Raheem Mostert here in Week 3. This is a great job. It's rare that Kittle looks this kind of bad against anyone, really, especially an outside linebacker of a similar size. So ability just to be able to, get the hand placement correctly, get his head across, eyes on the football, be able to shed the block, and then make the play. Again, you'll see it here. Good hand use, good leverage underneath Kittle's pads, gets him upright a bit. Just in control of this block, getting his eyes to the ball, being able to shed it. You see Kittle kind of go flying, and then trips up Mostert enough, and it's only a 3-yard gain. Another good example here from Week 5 against Baltimore, this time against an offensive lineman. So you say, oh, there's a tight end before Alex. Let's see how he does against an offensive lineman. Hard to get any better here than Marshall Yanda, still playing great football for the Baltimore Ravens. He's going to try to kick out Dupree here. Dupree's able to anchor that, keep his balance, be able to work off the block, even catches a piece of the tight end here, Nick Boyle, and ends up making the tackle. So that strength at the point of attack, the tenacity, take on the block. Again, Yanda pulling, that's not easy to do. Be able to absorb that kind of contact, maintain leverage, and then find the ball, make the tackle. Really nice play here from Bud Dupree. Run it through one more time and move on to the next snap. One of the most critical plays made by any Steelers defender at any particular moment this past season. This is 3rd and 1, minute 20 left against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts, if they get a first down, they can take the clock down to 0, get a couple extra yards, kind of get in better field goal range. See Dupree shoot this gap, be able to beat the tight end, make the tackle in the backfield against Marlon Mack for a 3-yard loss. Adam Vinatieri ends up missing the field goal, the ensuing field goal, and that kind of was the difference. So be able to time the snap, shoot that gap, not get washed down by the tight end. Now, granted, this is Mo Alley Cox, not a great blocker, former basketball player, but still, doesn't get washed down, keeps his hand free, shoots the gap, finishes. Some other good, impressive showing by other Steelers on this play, Cam Hayward included, but Dupree really made this play happen, and so a nice job there. Also, you get a look at the overfront the Steelers are running that gets Hayward on a tight end. Nice little wrinkle that Butler's introduced. You get Hayward. Ultimately, it's actually on the extra offensive lineman, but still Hayward with probably a better matchup. But the focus is on Bud Dupree, shooting that gap, making a play, and probably saving the Steelers a victory on this one. A little bit of finesse here from Bud Dupree, not just straight power work on the Browns left tackle. I believe that's Greg Robinson. Just going to swim over him, win cleanly, and make the tackle. And just making the tackle look really bad here. Ends up making the stop on Kareem Hunt in the backfield. Just watch the matchup. Just kind of changing up his approach here. Because, I think Robinson, I believe this is Robinson, wants to, obviously initiate contact. Dupree is able to read it, swim over, quick move, and make the tackle. Now, that's a risk, because if it doesn't work and he bounces it, because, Dupree's got to help out on the edge here, and he's got to he has force responsibility, he has to keep the back inside, but you take those calculated risks, and it pays off here for Bud Dupree. Big stop. This clip and the next clip, we'll be looking at the same idea of Dupree just beating a puller to the spot, and we kind of saw that with Yanda in the first one, though he doesn't really beat Yanda in that clip, but here he's able to beat the right guard. Just a nice job here to get downhill, play physical, strong at the point of attack. That's why it feels like he's bigger. Outside linebackers, Dupree, played some defensive end at Kentucky. Was an up-down kind of guy, but certainly a bigger, more physical build than some of the edge rushers you're going to see. So nice job here, downhill. He'll attack with his inside shoulder, keep the outside arm free, and then be able to basically just shed off the block. Nice job, too, on this play. But Dupree first man there. Just love that physicality, that kind of, because you're taking a blow. I mean, it's not going to feel good to run full speed into a 320-pound right guard. But that's what this calls for. It's what the Steelers scheme demands. Everyone's going to play solid run defense. And really nobody played better run defense this season. Probably on the entire roster. Maybe Cam Hayward. But right up there is Bud Dupree. 2 weeks later, a rematch against Cleveland. Again, beating a puller. This time it's going to be the tight end. I do want to give a little shout out to probably Javon Hargrave for creating a little bit of penetration there, kind of forcing the tight end to take a slightly wider and an extra kind of just half second, not even quarter second, to kind of get around the block right there. But Dupree again, beating the puller cleanly this time, making the tackle on Nick Chubb. I mean, the tight end has to kick out Dupree here. He's able to read the play, get downhill, squeeze it, and be physical really at the point of attack. And just a nice job here for basically no stop. So Hargrave, I think, gives an underrated, shout out to him on this play. But Dupree obviously made the play, and just a great job here to beat this gap scheme. Last thing to check out, Week 17 against Baltimore, and we've shown some power, shown a little bit of finesse, and just kind of overall athleticism from Bud Dupree. All have been, on display in these previous 6 plays that I've shown, but I think the effort was just as important in run defense, and Dupree certainly has that. I think his ability to chase and squeeze backside on plays where he probably doesn't have to, especially given he's playing 90% of the time, is really impressive. And so we talk about, long-term deal. Does he deserve it? Will he play well? Will he regress? Is he Willie 2.0? I mean, I say no, in part because that effort's there. I mean, even when he wasn't playing as well as he was his past season, the effort, the tenacity, the finish was always there. So Dupree probably does not have to squeeze this run as hard as he does here. He knows that Watt's going to make this play. But again, beating the tight end block here, being able to rally and then just finish that with physicality and taking a shot at RG3. The goal of this game was to really just hit and beat up RG3 as much as possible. They're doing mesh charge stuff on some of those read option schemes, but I could give you 10 different examples of this. I think I showed one in my live stream, this past one on Monday. But Dupree's, again, chase and effort and closing speed backside was impressive, and is also a really important part of run defense. Run defense, in part, is all about 1-2. You're going to have that desire, chase after the football. If you're a Steelers front 7 member, you better run at the football. The defensive line has been coached that way for the longest time. You get the same thing here from the outside linebackers, which are often coached by defensive line coach Carl Dunbar. They're kind of viewed in some sense as defensive ends, especially in an era where Watt and Dupree are dropping fewer than 10% of the time. So long story short, Dupree had a fantastic year, both as a pass rusher and a run defender. And again, I think he was better against the run than he was against the pass, and he was an excellent pass rusher in 2019. So Steelers going to keep him, whether it's on a franchise tag or a long-term deal, we shall see. Worst case scenario, it will be on the tag with the goal and the eye to a long-term deal. But plays like this kind of shows that Bud Dupree really became a complete player in 2019, talking snap count, versatility, pass rush. Obviously, that was the big improvement, but also his run defense. So really good stuff from Bud Dupree. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.